Todd, lots going on tonight, obviously. How do you maintain the laser focus that you need in this one?
You know, it's a big game, but we've been playing big games for, probably a good month and a half. Just trying to get back to this spot. And as the season winds down, the games take on a little bit more. Each one does. And obviously this being the last game, there's a lot riding on it. But our focus has to be, we've been in this position, played in a lot of big games. Thursday was a game that if we lose, we could have been eliminated. So we looked at that as an elimination game, and tonight's no different.
Todd, any hesitation putting a guy like Anisimov, who's been out for a few games, into a game
No.
like this?
No hesitation at all.
He's good to go.
He's good to go.
As a coach in the morning, do you try to gauge where your team is, and if so, did you get a good gauge this morning?
The focus was there, I believe. Had some energy. I think we're, all of us, coaches, players, probably you guys somewhat too, there's a lot of adrenaline right now. And you try not to read too much as a coach in your morning skates. It doesn't always translate. If you're great in the morning, you're great at night, or bad in the morning, you're bad at night. But you can see it in their eyes. They're focused, and they've earned this opportunity. They've earned this opportunity playing this big game, and the fans have been patient, and they've earned this opportunity too to come in and cheer on this team.
Do you have to channel their energy or emotion, or do you let it flow?
We have to be careful not to get too caught up in it. We have to use the energy that's going to be in the building, the noise, but you can't get caught up in it, because then you become lost in it and you start making some foolish mistakes. You start foolish decisions. So you're going to have to stay on task, stay focused. Use the energy, get the fans into it. Through our play, getting pucks behind them, forechecking, some physical play. Pucks to the net, create those scrums. Get that crowd going, then feed off of it that way. But we have to stay within ourselves.
Todd, what have you seen from your leadership through this stretch from the road game and into the last two games?
There's direction and composure. As coaches, we go into the room and we'll say things, and when you leave the room that there's other things that are being said, and that comes from your leaders. I also think I've said this before, whether it's to you guys or to the team, but leadership comes in a lot of different ways, and anybody can lead. It doesn't have to be the guys, the O'Coins, the Jack Johnsons, the Dubinskis, the Bulls who are wearing the letters. It can be anybody. Our young guys, to me, Matty Calvert, Cam Atkinson have stepped up. Dalton Prout has stepped up in that way. There's a big hit in the game, and Dalton Prout stepped up and challenged Nystrom. To me, that's part of leadership right there too.
You've got a couple guys in your room that have been in the situation before where the last game of the season makes the difference. Anisimov, and Dubinsky, and maybe some others. How much does that help in a moment like this? Do they bring the other guys to ease, just having guys who have been through this?
Yeah, possibly. I think experience always helps being in situations. But I think guys, the veteran guys, and sometimes it's the youth too that helps. Just not thinking about it, just going out and playing. We were all young once, and not a lot bothered us.
Yeah.
You just go out and do things. You didn't have time to think and this means a lot, or this is big. You just go out and play. And I think just the experience of our older guys, Anisimov, Dubinsky being through it, but I also think O'Coin, and Jack's played in some big games, and Wiz has played, been there, those types of players.
You've gotten to this point by rolling four lines a lot of nights. You seem to have gone away from that a little bit the last couple of games. Is there a reason for that, or have you shortened it a bit?
Some of it is based on what's going on in the game. It's not a conscious decision about not playing somebody. So it might be power plays and how that's shaped up. A lot of times I spend looking up at the clock, figuring out when a timeout's going to happen, and making sure I keep certain guys into the game and not sitting on the bench too long based on when the timeout's going to happen. Yeah. And guys are banged up too. So some of that is based off of that.
Todd, have you asked game ops to maybe not make a big production of out-of-town scores, or how would you like to see that handled tonight?
Right now, our focus is on this game, plain and simple. We can't. It's not going to matter what's going on out of town if we don't take care of business here. So first and foremost, we have to take care of what we can control, and that's our shifts. And then we'll worry about things after that.
Will you check out-of-town scores during the mission?
You know what? It probably will be a little bit, but I'm not going to get caught up in it. You know, I saw what can happen last night. You know, that should be as George said, and as we were talking, that should be a wake-up call for everyone. You know, what can happen. And so we've done a lot of good things on the road because we've been away for a while. We've done a lot of good things at home here this season. We have to be focused on first period. You know, everyone's first shift. Get ourselves into this and do the right things over and over for 60 minutes.
Are you a pregame speech guy? You got a Herb Brooks in here?
No, I'm not. There are times I think you draw an emotion, and tonight might be a little bit of that. But I'm not a get up an Al Pacino type speech or Herb Brooks. You know, it's you get up and you talk, and I think if you, as a coach, you talk from the heart. You know, that's pretty impactful, pretty powerful.
Todd, would you admit to any satisfaction if you were to get into Minnesota or not to get in?
The only thing I'm concerned about is us getting in. That's it. There's two teams that are in front of us. One's Minnesota and one's Detroit. To me, it really doesn't matter.
Is Nashville about as dangerous as a team you could play? I mean, you look at their situation, the injuries, and what their lineup might be. I mean, they literally, it's kind of nothing to lose with them.
Well, we were in that position last year, so most of the guys in that room, including myself, know what it's like to play the role as a spoiler, and it's something that you thrive off of. You know, this game, this time of year, last game of the year, you're looking for some sort of motivation, and that's a motivation for them. And I know their captain, their leader. I know what type of person he is. He's going to have that team ready to go. I know their coach. He's going to have that team ready to go. And at this stage of the season, you know, anybody's dangerous at any time. That's the great thing about this league. And young players coming up, you know, can step in and play. It's their opportunity. That's their motivation. It's to show people that they can play. Some guys are fighting for contracts, or whether it's with that team or with another team. So there's a lot of different, and they can just go out and play loose. They can just go out and play. And you know, that's one thing we have to try to do tonight. Not get so caught up in it where it affects our ability to do the things we want to do.
You're a pretty calm guy. What are you feeling? Are you as calm as you look, or are you ready to like jump out of your skin?
Right now, I feel pretty comfortable. I do. I feel pretty calm, and I think that comes from the way your team has played. You know, where we've come from and how we've gotten there. Because you have to play some pretty consistent, good hockey for us to get to this point and to play in this game. So for me, that's what's given me the confidence and the calmness. Doesn't mean, you know, 10 minutes before the game I'm not going to have some butterflies. I probably will, and I think those are normal and those are good. That's what you want to feel in these big games, and I think that's why we all want to get here and why we all want to play, is to have those butterflies. Because last year, again, we were just finishing out the year, and that wasn't very fun. So I hope I do feel those butterflies.
You feel this is the same kind of a game as all your previous, because you've been playing these kind of elimination games for a couple weeks now, or is this?
There's difference to it, because it is the last game of the year, and there is a lot riding on it. And as I said earlier, we were playing in a lot of important games. I mean, we were talking about these are games that we have to get points in. Because this is the last game, I mean, there either is a tomorrow or there's not a tomorrow. You know, compared to 10 games ago, we always knew there was going to be a tomorrow. But right now, there's not. So that's what puts a lot of impact on this. But again, we've played in some big games. You know, Thursday's game was a huge game in Dallas, and we came out first shift, and you could tell that we were ready to go. Now we have to have that same focus, that same work, that same commitment. It's not going to be easier because we're at home or we're playing against maybe some young guys. There's some names that you're unfamiliar with. You know, Weber, Fisher, Kostitsyn, Klein, Gill. I mean, there's a lot of respect there.